okay? Good morning, everybody. So obviously this is a casual thing, no PowerPoint, so that's good. So just a little bit about me. I'm the State Director at Key Assets and have been working in the sector for, I think it's over 35 years now. Used to be proud about that, but now I'm getting a bit scared because it's too long. This is Sharon Chakrabarti, who's our panel recruitment and panel manager. So Key Assets have been working in this space in WA for 15 years. We had our 15-year anniversary last November, so it's actually 16 years now. We've in the past provided general foster care, specialised foster care and disability placement support, supporting children with disabilities. Now we have a standalone disability service funded through the NDIS that sits alongside our team. And in the new world, we're providing complex care for those children that sadly can't be living with families. So we have a staffed model for those children, one-on-one type model. And I think we have about 90 children currently in our care, in the foster care stream. We provide services in the southwest, so we have an office in Bunbury. We have an office in Rockingham and an office in Stirling, and we also provide services in the East Kimberley. So we've got an office in Kununurra, and we partner with two ACCOs in the Kimberley, Jungani, Judia, and the Woonan Foundation to provide the family support and wellbeing service. So that's a preventative to try and help kids stay with their families and keep out of care. We have about 45 to 50 permanent staff and about the same casuals. A lot of those casuals are working as youth workers or support workers, supporting our foster placements. Are still quite engaged and obviously essential to the service to provide support to the foster placements. What else? I guess what I'm proud about from a Key Assets point of view is our work culture and the culture in Key Assets. We do engagement scores every year and they've been really positive. I should mention that we're a national organisation and we provide services in all states, not in the territories. So we can draw upon lots of a wealth of experience from all those other jurisdictions who provide slightly different models, different services. So it's a really collaborative learning opportunity. And we started from our mother organisation who was based in the UK. And they started there by a carer and a social worker decided that it was no good for kids to be in resi care and deemed unfosterable. So they started up a specialised fostering service in the UK, and that's where we grew from. We're now a separate entity to the UK, so we're not really legally attached, but again we get to share ideas and resources from around the world, really. We're in lots of countries now. But in Perth it still feels like a kind of small family, but we can draw on that sort of bigger organisation. Do you want to talk to the supports we provide? And Shona, are you going to keep me on time or someone? Otherwise I'll bang on forever.
Can you hear me okay? Well, good morning. I'm Sharon Chakrabarti. Brenda kindly let you know that I'm one of the managers at Key Assets. I've been there since 2015, initially as a social worker in the team supporting foster carers. I hadn't long arrived in Australia, you could probably tell by the accent. I'm from England initially. My background predominantly was around child protection and also did a lot of work with families in private court, so around contact, custody, things like that. also worked with children in longer term placements, and one of my key roles was around life story work, so working with the children and carers around how we support children, really learn about who they are, where they've come from, and to support them kind of moving forward in their journey with being with their carers, and whatever form that looked like. I started in this role in 2018, so I support a team with bringing new carers on board. So from that very initial phone call where people are really just finding out a little bit about who we are, sharing their story around why they're thinking of becoming a carer, right through to supporting them in their journey, moving forward through assessment, through initial approval, and that stage where they've just been approved and just kind of waiting for that phone call for the very first child to come into their care, and really acknowledging, you know, the excitement, but also a lot of the worries and anxieties in that space, and making sure that we're really supporting people starting that fostering journey. Really fortunate having been a social worker in the team. I've known a lot of the carers for years, and so that's been really valuable in terms of supporting new staff, but also just really supporting people in their journey throughout the years and whatever that has looked like, the ups and the downs, the goods, the bads, and just really making sure that we're supporting our carers with what they need. That's very much on an individual basis. Every carer household is unique. What they need is unique. So although we'll talk about the supports that we offer, I just want to really acknowledge that you have your own team around you. So this is very broad when we're talking about supports. Supports come in many different forms. There are some documents that we've created as part of this process that are outside for you, and we're about today to share them with you. So it's just really around carers transferring to us. But I guess the main thing that we want to share with you is what we offer, what we can provide you, so you can make a really informed decision around that. I think some of the key things that we make sure that people are aware of is around our therapeutic supports. We have a team of caseworkers. Some of them are social workers, some of them have different qualifications, and they work with you intensely as carers. So that could be around, you know, attending meetings, advocating on your behalf, on the children's behalf, and we have our therapy team. So our therapists are there to work alongside you around key issues, key things that are happening for the children, and they work collaboratively with your social worker. We also have our support work team, so they will do individual support work with some of the children, so particularly around kind of school holidays, things that are happening on weekends, so just making sure that the children are getting their individual support as well as the carers. We have our cultural practice lead who works really closely alongside our social workers, therapists, and the carers and the department around cultural planning and really thinking about what that looks like for the individual children and making sure that we're putting a really robust plan around supporting our children's connections. We also have carers who are part of our consultation advisory group. So those carers have a cohort of carers that they contact and support. So if there's any key issues that our carers like other carers to bring to the table, they're part of our policy making. They'll review all of our documents, all of our events. They come to a lot of our events. So just saying that there's other carers to support you alongside the support that you get from the staff. But it's all detailed in here. I won't go into too much detail. I'm really conscious of time. But also just wanted to really highlight something else we provide is we foster too. So that's really acknowledging that it's a carer family household. It's the carer's own children are part of this process. So we make sure that throughout the whole assessment process, we're supporting birth children as well. We know it has a significant impact on them, both positives, but also really the challenges. So we provide a lot of supports to carers' own children, and that includes events and just making sure they're really part of that carer household. So again, there's lots of documentation, and we'll be around today and happy to go through anything that I've mentioned, but also to share some of these key supports with you.
So hi, my name's Leanne. Our State Director is in Melbourne at the moment, and as Shona just said, everyone else in the office has COVID. So I'm Kelly Goes is our State Director, I'm her EA. and I have one of our caseworkers with us who can answer some questions later on for you. So you have to excuse my hands are shaking. I've got some notes to read off. So MacKillop is a national organisation. This means we have national systems, governance and supports with over 26 years of experience in out-of-home care. We are a small organisation here in WA. What that means for you is a more personal support and sense of community with real relationships at all levels of the organisation. So basically our State Director knows the name of all our children, all our carers. She's very personable and accessible at every level, from the kids through to the carers. So carers will be supported individually and not just considered as a number. Transitioning carers will undergo an assessment interview, so just basically sit down, have a bit of a recap of where you're at, you know, what your journey's been so far, and then just a review more so as part of as opposed to an assessment, just to help make the transition easier and not as onerous on you. MacKillop is a child safe organisation with a reputation for high quality and strong values and a strong commitment to cultural safety. We very much advocate for all children, Aboriginal children, to transfer to ACOs, obviously, or Aboriginal controlled organisations. Obviously that is, everyone has their own choice, but we do strongly advocate for that. MacKillop has worked from a trauma-informed framework, which is known as Sanctuary, that guides all that we do, helping us to maintain high quality and strong advocacy. I can read to you a little bit about our Sanctuary framework. Sanctuary is an evidence-based approach that was developed by a psychiatrist called Sandra Bloom in the 1980s, based on her experiences working in an acute care psychiatric unit where most of her patients had survived traumatic childhood experiences. So what that means is it focuses on safety and building an understanding of how past trauma can continue to affect someone's behaviour. It recognises that trauma has an impact not only on the people we work with, but also on our employees and on you, the carers. Working with a trauma-informed organisation allows you and the child you care for to be supported by staff who can recognise and effectively respond to the impacts of past trauma. So all of our staff, from the board down to administration, are all trained in Sanctuary framework.
Probably worth noting as well that MacKillop is actually the service that trains all other providers in that field as well, so they are the experts in their field in that space.
Our State Director and Principal Practitioner both work for the Department for many years and are experienced in child protection systems, both internal to the Department as well as in the community sector services. We, earlier this year, were accredited with the Rainbow Tick, which means that we are a fully inclusive organisation. And that's quite a hard accreditation to achieve, so there was a lot of work put into that. We offer the sort of carer supports we offer you. We have regular carer corners where we meet up for morning teas. We had one recently over at the Boathouse in South Perth. It can be an informal thing where it's just getting together, chatting with other carers, chatting with your caseworker, touching on subjects that you might want more information on, more training on, gathering ideas for future training from the carers. We have an employee counselling service, which is also available to all our carers. You can do that via an app, on the phone. I think there are some face-to-face as well. As I said before, you have access to our State Director at any time. And we hold events throughout the year. Last weekend we had our annual children's Christmas party where we had the carers, the children, their biological children. Santa came along. It was, I think I said it was Adventure World, and it's a really well attended event and everyone loves it. In closing, as I said, I don't have a lot to tell you and go through right now, but Romney is our case manager, and I have been with MacKillop for a while, so I'm able to answer some questions outside, and we've got some literature for you to take away. I do have we were going to have one of our carers come and talk for us this morning as well, but she has been taken ill also, so she sent us an email which I could just read to you if I could. So they've been carers with MacKillop for a while and have just had a child that aged out, and they're still very much in contact with her. She has just had her first child, and they are hands-on grandparents. So good morning, everyone. It took my husband Mike and I a few years to get our journey with fostering off the ground. We had 4 boys of our own, plus a full-time business which kept us busy. I had made inquiries with the department and another agency, but found the communication hard to comprehend, and there didn't seem to be a lot of encouragement to get started. It wasn't until I was getting my daily coffee and saw the marketing on a cup that I noticed MacKillop was seeking foster carers, so I gave them a call that day. From that first phone call, I felt very welcomed and was emailed the information package straight away. Reading through it was comprehensive and helpful, so I just knew then that I'd finally found the right track. From the first meeting we had, Mike and I could see that there was a great care given to both the carer and the child, and we bonded with the organisation immediately, with us all having the same heart for kids in care. 4 years later, we now feel very much part of the MacKillop family. We never struggle to get in contact if we need assistance. Communication is impeccable, and the support for both us and any child we have had in our care has always been top-notch. Whenever I speak to anyone that is interested in starting their fostering journey, I always encourage them to make contact with MacKillop, as I would want their journey to be as positive as ours and has been, and then the children who they welcome into their home will also receive the care that they truly deserve. Wishing you all the best with your journey and decisions ahead. We hope that you all consider joining the MacKillop community. Kind regards, Renee and Mike. So Renee and Mike have just also taken in a brand new baby that they are caring for. And yeah, they're a beautiful couple. That's it for me. As I said, we'll be available outside for questions. Any questions that Romney and I cannot answer, I've got strict instructions to take your names, and our State Director will give you a call back. Thank you.
Okay, I'd just like to acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, of the land that we currently are standing on, past, present and merging, as and we seek their guidance in nurturing our children to flourish. So since 1991, I'm reading, so this is Marie's stuff here. Since 1999, Yorgonop Association Incorporated has been working tirelessly towards achieving the vision of nurturing our children to flourish. We have been recruiting, supporting and empowering foster carers for over 32 years. So up until now, we have been the only Indigenous ACO in this space. So with everybody else coming on board, hopefully we can provide support to them as well, as we care for our Indigenous children. The name Yorgonop comes from 2 Aboriginal words, 2 Noongar words actually, Yorga meaning girl and Nop meaning boy. Put them together and they're our children. So Yorga Nop, a lot of people get that mixed up. Just remember that Nop is boy and you got it right. We have 2 offices here in Perth, one in West Perth and one in Osborne Park. looking towards opening an office in Albany and in Northam. We work alongside the Department of Communities, as most people do, Child Protection and Family Services, Aboriginal families, agencies and community groups to enhance the wellbeing of Aboriginal children experiencing out-of-home care. We are committed to keeping our children and families connected by offering support and assistance to ensure staff and nurturing care. This allows our children to grow strong in themselves, their culture and their future. In Western Australia, approximately 58% of children in out-of-home care are Aboriginal. That's currently over 2,700 children. This number has been steadily increasing over the past years. It's a number that just keeps going up and up and never going down. So it's very vital, it's very important that we and the other ACOs that do come on to in this space ensure that our children are safe and strong in culture. Aboriginal children are the risk of losing connection with family and culture, which can deeply impact their self-identity and emotional well-being. At Yorganup, our services support and encourage Aboriginal children and young people who are in out-of-home care placements to stay connected to families and culture. It's not only the carers' family but also their biological families. Making their own decisions, developing skills and looking forward to a positive future. We are currently contracted to provide out-of-home care in the Perth Metropolitan, Wheatbelt and Great Southern areas with regional offices in Albany and Northam, like I previously said. We employ staff with backgrounds in social work, psychology, education, child development, management. We work together to ensure the children and young people are cared for in a stable, secure home environment where their development needs to be met. Each Indigenous child needs to know where they belong, their mob and their place in society. They need to know from the start, not only in society but in family and in communities where they come from. Yorganup have registered foster carers to whom we provide ongoing support, training and resources. We are especially mindful of the impact that complex trauma and intergenerational trauma has on children, and we have made a commitment in implementing the sanctuary model. So we're currently going through the sanctuary model. Yesterday I received an email from the sanctuary group in Melbourne, and we've been working on the 8th commitment, which is a cultural commitment in the sanctuary realm. Registered foster carers are required by Department of Communities, Child Protection and Family Services to meet carer competencies. We support our carers to meet and maintain their competencies through regular phone calls, face-to-face visits, customised and cultural relevant resources and learning sessions. We welcome carers from all walks of life and backgrounds to join our growing community of carers. You will get all the practical support and guidance you need, as well as the cultural support. Supportive carers assessment process, making it easier for you to transition over to us. By all means, all of you are welcome. Especially if you've got Aboriginal children that you've been caring for. You know, we pride ourselves on the cultural connection that we can give to our kids in care. We are especially proud of the creative approach that we have taken to help our carers meet competency 4, talking responsibly for own learning, acknowledging the carers have a range of different learning styles. The Strategies and Innovation Team that was developed at Yorganup have a comprehensive program allowing carers to access training in ways to match their learning style and also the child that they care for. So, you know, and I don't think I'm preaching to people that don't know, but we have children from right across the state, and so we ensure that we do not try and place like Nyungar culture on someone from Gija, which is up near Kununurra. So, you know, they're all different, and we've got Yamini kids and Wongai kids and Maru. We've got kids from all over the state basically, and we provide resources for each of those children. It's not just a blanketed cultural support. At Yorganup, we are enthusiastic about the programs that we are helping to keep our children connected to their culture in meaningful and enriching ways. Our primary function is to provide an out-of-home care service that gives effect to Aboriginal children to the Aboriginal Child Placement Principle. We run a program called Kulunga's Yiriyakan, which translates as Children Standing Tall. This program focuses on children and youth engagement. We host events and activities with kids, teach them traditional values. Being in an ACO, our main focus is on culture and the child to grow strong. We have offered these events, kids' activities, Christmas activity. We always try and put a cultural spin on any event that we do, and we value the life skills that carers may have that give to these children as well. We offer these events at least twice a year. Last year, one of these events was a successful footy and pie gathering attended by children, young people and carers. The event included Nyungar sports activities and a display to highlight the successes of Nyungar sports people, including AFL players. We have implemented an integrated service delivery model of Aboriginal children in care and young people leaving care with a focus on finding family and carers for the children. Hopefully by the time they leave care, we've connected them with family. We do this through 3 program areas. We provide the initial pilot program called the ARO, which is the Aboriginal Representative Organisation, and that's only a new one. That's only just started this year, and it's we have 2 young ladies, 2 Nyungar ladies working in this space for us, Katina Naria and Roseanne Korana. They are out busily working with the Armidale district, finding family, connecting family with children that Armidale have in their care. Through running our out-of-home program in the Metro, Wheatbelt, Great Southern District, and to deliver our innovative home stretch leaving care program, which is another new program for young people transferring from care. So when they are at 17 and a half, I suppose, their case manager can refer them to the home stretch program. And that within the home stretch program, we have coaches who will work alongside the young person, not showing them what to do, but supporting them in their decisions that they make. They make the decisions if they want to connect with family, if they don't, whatever, and work. And our coaches work with them to try and soften that blow for the family and stuff like that there. So we try and make a nice, smooth, comfortable transition from being told what to do for 18 years to them making their own decisions. Some of them don't even want to leave their carers. Some of them do. So, it depends on the choices that they make. Some of them might think that getting a job is the first thing that they want to do. So the coaches will help them. Or they might want to get their licence. So they'll go that way. Depends, And it's a child. guiding their journey, or young person I should say. So, with the Out of Home program, the Yakaring Kulunga Mort program, which is the ARO, and the Home Stretch program, I think we've got everything covered from the cultural side of things anyway, and try to provide support for most of the carers and to provide the best care that they can give to the young person.
That it is a tough time for carers as well. It's uncertain, and change is always difficult, and you already work in a really tough space. So really we're all here to try and make that easier, and that will be our objective as an organisation, is to make that transition as easy as it possibly can be. So my name's Kieran Dent, and I am Wanjaning's General Manager for Children, Families and Family Domestic Violence. So obviously we are a new provider to the out-of-home care space, formerly a new provider, but of course our communities have been providing care for our kids in many different arrangements for decades. The service that we will be providing will be called Nala Bidi Maya, which translates in Yunga to Our Way Home, which reflects our respect for our partners, Parkerville Children and Youth Care, who have done a huge amount of work in developing the Our Way Home model with the sector, which has a real focus on family restoration and connection, which is some core values that we hold really dearly. I've been going back and forth thinking about this session since Shona sent out the invite and what we want to communicate, and I really thought, do we try and sell ourselves or, talk the world up? But really that's not the way in which we operate as an organisation. We're very authentic and we speak from the heart, and so that's what I'll intend to do today. And to kick that off, I think it's important for you to know a little bit about who I am. So I'm a Nyaranyan man from the West Kimberley. My mother was born on Kimberley Downs Station out on the Gibb River Road. And then our family migrated into Mowanjum community, which is just outside of Derby, and that's where most of my family reside now. Then my mum relocated to Perth for her high school, because there was no high school in regional areas back then, and she stayed in Perth to do teachers college, and she's been a teacher ever since. That's where she met my dad, so both my folks are teachers. And that juncture of my mum relocating and meeting my dad in Perth has probably been the single most important moment in time that has benefited our family, but has also been a major source of loss of cultural identity for myself, my brother and my mum. And when I really reflect on when I started in this field 13 years ago, that's become an area that's fascinated me and been a major driver for why I do the work that I do in this field. Because from the moment that I started this work, I saw my own story in the young people that I worked with. They were struggling with who they were, whether they were too dark, too light, they grew up off country, they didn't know their family, didn't know their community, or they knew too much and they couldn't operate in a Western world. So really that's been my, is to develop programs, ways of working that bring those two worlds together. And that's what we've done at Wanjaning in our child protection services for the last 6 years, and that's what we're going to take into this out-of-home care space as well. My wife and I are also family carers for my niece's almost 4-year-old son, who we took on at 3 months old. So I think personally, we've been through it all as well over the last 4 years, and really recognise the unique experience that carers have, the disempowerment that you can feel at times when you care so fiercely for a child, and you give everything, and you're the one that's there day in, day out, supporting that child, seeing that child grow and develop, the ups and downs, but yet not really having a voice or say in decision making ultimately when it comes to that child. And it's something that I think we do really well and is in the fabric of the way in which we operate as an organisation, is elevating voices, because we know what it feels like to be disempowered. And so we would never want to put someone in a situation where they felt that. So we will always be seeking out the nuance of various situations that will allow for increased participation in decision making. So as carers who come over to our organisation, that's what we'll always be seeking to do in how we work with you, how we negotiate with the department, and we've become very skilled at that negotiation and that nuance over the years. A little bit of background on Wunjinning. So we might be new to the out-of-home care space, but we're certainly not a new organisation. We've been around for 35 years. We started with a collective of Aboriginal people from the community who were concerned about the level of drug and alcohol misuse in our community, and they formed an organisation called NASIS, the Nyungar Alcohol and Substance Abuse Service. And that was really our start, and our children have always been at the core of that, because our community was seeing the impact that drug and alcohol was having on our children. So children, despite being an AOD organisation from our start, our history has always been rooted in the fact that we want better outcomes for our children. So in 2017, we rapidly expanded as an organisation. So we went from around 40 staff to over 100. And now we are approaching 350 staff across predominantly the Perth metropolitan area, with pockets of staff in the Binjarra region and the southwest. And a large volume of that work sits in my portfolio and relates to children and families and family and domestic violence. So it's something that we are fiercely passionate about, and moving into this out-of-home care space is really a natural extension to the work that we're already doing. Just sitting with the uncertainty for carers, we recognise that you'll be grappling at the moment with where to go and what to do, and there could be some fear attached to transitioning to a new provider, and an Aboriginal corporation at that, for many different reasons. But what I just want to say is we see family as a massively broad concept. And as carers, you are so intimately interwoven with that child, and you are part of their family. And we would seek to bring the family, the foster care family, and the biological family together, so that child's needs can be met in the best way that they possibly can be, given the circumstances for these children. Probably just a little bit about what we will be delivering as an organisation. We will be delivering 4 community group homes, 2 temporary care homes, and providing foster care for 25 children, focused on the metropolitan area. We'll have a team of 48 staff providing the services, with a dedicated foster care team to support our carers. And we'll also have a dedicated team of Aboriginal staff whose sole focus will be on promoting the family connection and cultural connection of the children that we're providing care for. And that, by extension, that support will go to carers as well. And I didn't want to come in today presuming what carers wanted from us and what supports were needed. I mean, I have a feel for what that might look like, but we didn't want to pinhole anything in terms of what we will be providing. So what we are really seeking to do over the coming months is to engage as many carers as possible to understand, what do you want from a service. And that's the unique opportunity I think we have as a new provider is carers can have a significant influence on the way in which we deliver our services. And that won't just stop once we're implemented. We will set up the systems to ensure that that voice continues to come in through how we continue to develop our service over time. But what I can say is that the individualised support is the most critical element to us. Everyone is unique and everyone will have different needs and different ways in which they would like to be worked with. And that will be our primary focus, is working with you in terms of how you want to be supported as a carer, outside of anything else. We are working with the Australian Childhood Foundation to work towards our certification for safeguarding children, who also is a provider in the out-of-home care space, and we're also working with MacKillop towards a Sanctuary accreditation as well. And Sanctuary is a fantastic model that is so trauma responsive, and particularly the recognition that we're all traumatised in one way or another, and we need to set up the systems that support healing for everyone at every level, and that's what Sanctuary does. So I'll probably start to close, and really today is not about trying to persuade anyone to come to our organisation that we're better than anyone else. We're not in competition, and that's something that I've really come to see since entering this space, is that the level of support and care across the sector is tremendous, and you will be well served by any of the organisations that are in this space, and I truly believe that. So really what it comes down to is an alignment of a shared vision and the same values. And so all I can do is encourage you, if there's anything that I've said that resonates with you in any way, like, we would love to chat with you, we'd love to get to know you, and talk about what a future with Wanjalin could look like.
You hear me, yeah? I was listening to Kieran as we all were there, and my heart was warming up with everything he was saying, and then at the same time it was sinking, thinking, I can't believe I've got to go in the back of him. Oh. So please bear with me. This is very much a script that I put together at 6 o'clock this morning, totally unprepared, but so some of it I'll have to read from, some of it I'll speak to from the heart, because I think we're all here because this is what we do. We care for children passionately, and want to get the best outcomes for them throughout their care journey. I'm acknowledging it's been a really difficult time for everybody involved, the carers, the children, central to that, and obviously the workers who are trying to navigate their way through this really difficult process. I forgot to say that I work for Uniting WA. I have been with them since October 22, so basically just like 13-14 months, but previous to that I was with another CSO, a very good CSO, MacKillop, who was my training ground really for being a social worker in Australia. Prior to coming to Australia, just coming up for 6 years ago, I worked for 16 years as a social worker in Scotland, 8 of which was managing child protection teams, intensive family support and youth justice. So everything from the cradle, pre-birth, right through to children exiting care. So it's fair to say I've seen it all. Uniting WA, what I really like as an organisation, so we're a very small team. There's just, I'll not speak to our group foster care space, I'll only speak to the community foster care space that we're all here for today. So our team is led by Fiona Cafferty, a fellow Scotswoman who's very experienced in the out-of-home care space and the disability sector, and she's been amazing supporting me into this new role. We have myself, who I'm the specialist team leader, and I look after currently transitional high needs and foster care. So in the foster care team, we have 3 experienced social workers who are dedicated to looking after our carers. We only have 11 placements because it is a very niche service. Our children are all, well, not currently, but moving into this new world, our children will all be not level 4 or 5. So we're speaking about children who have complex medical needs, disabilities and trauma, sometimes all together. So you can imagine it's a really challenging but rewarding role for the carers who are providing them with the day-to-day care. So what do we do for these carers and how do we support them? Well, first of all, we look after them right from the assessment process. We don't actually get many carers coming through Uniting because it is a very specialised service, but the ones we do have stay for the long term. The children are all in long-term placements, and our longest established carers celebrated their 28th year anniversary with us last year, and they currently have 3 children in foster care and 1 on an SGO. So they feel really safe with the organisation, they feel really supported. All the carers are known to each other, they really look after each other, and they step in to help whenever a child or a carer needs a break, be that a day respite or an overnight. It's very much a family. Well, I see it like a family, and that's why I love working at Unite, and I think it's a really close-knit community, very compassionate people, very trauma-informed organisation, and really understanding, a really experienced team who understand the complex needs of all the children in our care. We have a therapeutic coach with Uniting as well, so we work under the TCI framework, therapeutic crisis intervention, because obviously some of these children in our care don't just have medical needs or disabilities, they come from backgrounds where they've experienced so much adversity that they're so traumatised, and their behaviours can be quite challenging for the carers to manage. So we really are there to walk alongside them and make sure that they have the tools, the strategies, the strength to keep going, and they do. And they're worth their weight in gold, and we absolutely value every single thing that they do for the kids. On a daily, we're available by phone, by email. We're visiting the carers regularly. We're sighting the children in different spaces, whether it be in the household with the carers. So we're getting to observe the dynamics in the household, because most of our carers have their own biological children. They're absolutely amazing. So they've brought these high needs children into their family home, and they're so welcomed and so wanted and so cared for by the children. They see them as their sisters and brothers, and the extended family see them very much as part of their own. So we're always available, we're always visiting, supporting them practically as well, because these children have multiple medical appointments, therapy providers coming into the home, so we'll go along and observe them in that environment and support the carers, whether it's sitting with the other children, looking after them while a child attends therapy. It just really depends what that carer needs. We will tailor it to fit their lifestyle and fit what they've got on in a day. So yeah, that's what happens from that perspective. I mean, I'm trying to think what else, but we're absolutely a child-safe organisation. So it's not just about understanding child safety, it's about intervening to ensure child safety. We all understand what we need to be doing to make a child feel safe, but we actively pursue that as our ultimate goal, is making sure that their safety is central to everything we do. Some of our children can't verbalise how they feel, what's going on for them. So it's very much getting that relationship with the child and knowing exactly what they need, and observing them in their care environment and being able to report back and having that really close relationship with the carers, so that they don't feel worried about saying that something's not sitting right with them. They feel safe to report, and they'll not be judged. It's very much a whole team approach to looking after them. we will, in this new world, obviously we'll be growing. We're moving up to have 18 placements, so we're really excited about bringing new carers and new children into our service. We feel that we've got a lot to offer in that space, but obviously it's going to be really sad because some of the children that are with us currently are going to have to transition out because they don't meet the criteria in this new world for the service that we're providing. But where needed, we will obviously try to keep that connection and try to keep children with us as much as we possibly can. So I think the only thing really I've left to say is that we're absolutely committed to walking alongside the new Aboriginal community controlled organisations. We have lots of children in our care who are Aboriginal from all over Western Australia, and so we're always learning. Uniting have just brought on a new cultural lead, and he's been a wealth of knowledge and experience, and he'll be out visiting the carers and supporting them, providing resources, listening to their stories, sharing his experiences, whatever the need. He's so open and caring and committed to making sure that the children are connected to culture and feel safe culturally as well. I mean, our carers are so committed to that as well. They'll do return to country trips up to Broome and wherever else, Geraldton, wherever else is needed. Wheelchairs, everything in tow, off they go, and they just love it. They just really are committed to making sure these kids feel safe.
Hey, how are you all going? So, a caveat. We were also going to have a foster carer come up and share the stage with me to sort of explore why she chose to foster care with Parkerville and why she has for so many years, but she's also unwell. So she's provided me some information that I will sort of read out in a bit. My name's Johnny Ryler. I'm the General Manager for out-of-home care at Parkerville. Parkerville is an organisation, it's a Western Australia-based organisation, celebrating our 120th year this year. So we were originally based up in the Parkerville Hills, and we now have our central office in Midland, and we also have an office in Armidale. So they're the two areas we kind of provide services out of. In terms of our out-of-home care services, we are fairly small, not as small as some of them, but we are fairly small. So we traditionally have 26 placements, which is increasing to 40 over the next couple of months. We also have other, we run family group homes, specialised foster care, and we have done for the last, a number of years. And we also have a number of other services we provide at Parkerville. So we have a youth service, we have some education services, and we have quite a large therapeutic service, which is quite significant because we do have access to a lot of sort of significant knowledge and information across the different roles in Parkerville. So that, we have psychologists, OTs, teachers all on our staff who are able to sort of collaborate with us to provide those services. Again, don't want to repeat what everybody's been saying, but trying to identify what I feel makes Parkerville slightly different as an organisation. So over the last 4 years, we actually have redesigned our out-of-home care model. So we undertook a co-design process and we engaged with about 250 people within the sector to actually reimagine how out-of-home care can be provided. So this included, we had a number of foster carers as part of our, co-design team. We had young people with a care experience. We had staff from Parkerville and a number of sector agencies, as well as sort of department staff and service experts. So over a 4-year period, we've actually redesigned what our out-of-home care service looks like, which is the new Our Way Home service, a service we are fairly proud of. So we actually recently won a gold award at the Australian Good Design Awards for social impact. So we felt, something we were really proud of around what this new service would look like. Within our, foster care team. So we've got two of our team leaders at the back there, two of our social workers. So we are, like I said, we are a very small team. We have currently 2 team leaders who work within the team, and we are employing a 3rd team leader. We also have family link workers whose role is to support families and young people and carers around their, collaborative work. We have some therapeutic specialists, so TCI trainers, people trained under life story work who are able to provide those type of services. Some of the notes, so Ruth, our foster carer. So Ruth and Craig have been carers with Parkerville now for 16 years. They were originally staff members working within our family group home and decided to take a couple of the children into the community as foster carers, so went through the assessment process. So since then, the young people that they've had originally have now gone on to special guardianship orders, sort of remain in their care. And they have another 4 children placed in their care. So they've been with us about 16 years, and when asked around why they chose to foster with Parkerville and what kept them with Parkerville, these are some of the comments that Ruth provided. So first off, and she said the most important was always the high level of support that she had. Being a small team, she said she knows everyone within the team. She knows the team leaders, the clinicians. I know Rufus very well. I've worked with Ruth for a number of years. The level of advocacy that she felt Parkerville has provided, where when we've had to collaborate with our colleagues in the department, she feels that Parkerville advocate really well for her and for the young people in her care, whatever that looks like. One of the stories that she was going to talk around is being able to facilitate family contact up in the very north of Western Australia, which she would travel with the young people up to, I think it was Wyndham. She used to take the children and engage with the family and their community up there, and that was always supported and funded by Parkerville. She also wanted to highlight the support we used to provide for, the ongoing support provided for her biological children. So she's got 4 children of her own who are, say, all adults now, but have all been part of the foster care family. So, she really wanted to highlight the level of support and attention we'd always provide to her own biological children. And then finally, it was just around, she felt the level of flexibility that the Parkerville were able to provide. So that was in terms of training, in terms of support. So being a small team and having some, trainers within our service, we were able to provide training at weekends, evenings, one-on-one training, rather than, because Craig had always worked full-time and Ruth was the main carer, but when you have 4 children at home on SGOs and 4 children in foster care, it was very difficult to sort of come to 3-4 day training, so we were always able to adapt the training to actually meet her individual needs. We Parkerville have a number of different events we have during the year that we always try and collaborate with carers on. We have a big Christmas party every year, which all of our foster care and children come to. We have camps throughout the year, lots of holiday activities where we, get all the foster carers and the children together on, either on our campus up in Parkerville or in the community, which are always fairly popular and well-attended events.
Hopefully everyone can hear me. We'll swap microphones later. Hello everyone, my name is Christine Lindahl. I'm the operations manager from Wansley Foster Care, and with me today I have Amy Lindsley, who is a coordinator at Wansley. My background is that I'm a social worker. I'm originally from Norway, so you don't have to worry about where my accent is from. And I have been in the out-of-home care space in various different roles for the last 13 years. I've been with Wansley now for 6.5 years. So Wansley has actually been around for 80 years, and we've delivered foster care services for 43 years. We support children, young people and young adults up up to 25 years of age. And we have a number of community services programs at Wansley, such as parenting support, out-of-home care, grandparent support, leaving care and Homestretch. Homestretch is a fairly new program that we have. Mental health programs, school-based programs, housing support, and we also have a number of regional programs as well. We also have an early childhood intervention program where children can get early access to NDIS and early childhood education. So we're quite a large organisation with 400 staff, and we have 110 foster carers at the moment. So our purpose is really to help children grow and develop safely. We're committed to create long-term social impact and social change, and the role of the foster carers at Wansley is highly valued and supported. So we also have the children's safety at the forefront of all of our work. We have embedded a child-safe culture at Wansley, and we are currently undergoing accreditation with Australian Childhood Foundation to become a child-safe organisation. So just a little bit about values, because I guess as a carer you'd want to know that the organisation you choose to go with align with your values. So our values are that we care, we collaborate, we're accountable, we have courage, and we celebrate. And the celebration part is really important for us. Every month in our team meeting we bring up good news stories for foster carers and children, and we share them and we celebrate, you know, all the fantastic work that our foster carers are doing and the achievement of the children in care. So where we're based, so we have offices in Mandurah, that's where Amy works, in Cloverdale, in Scarborough, and in Currumbine at the moment. We also have an office in Albany, but we will be phasing out of the regional program in Albany. So what we're really looking for from Wansley's end in terms of our new contract, so we've been awarded general community foster care placements for children of all NAT levels and an emergency foster care contract. So we're interested in speaking to carers who might be interested, who are already caring for children of that higher NAT level, of NAT level 4 and 5, or who might be interested in providing that care, and also carers who are willing to provide emergency placements. So the emergency placements are caring for a child between 7 days and 21 days. So very interested in speaking to any of you who might be interested in that. In terms of culture, we actually have a practice lead for culture, and her name is Janice Cracker. She supports carers and children and staff in family connection, family finding, and also developing cultural healing and support plans for all children. So at Wansley we have a high number of Aboriginal children. We're really excited to be able to support the ACOs and for some of the Aboriginal children to transfer across to some of the new ACOs or existing ACOs in this space, and we're looking forward to working with ACOs. So currently we actually have over 80% of our Aboriginal children have their own tailor-made cultural healing and support plan, and that's something that we would be happy to provide, you know, to the child and the carer when they transition out for the new agency to continue to build on. It's a working document. As we get more information from family, mob, from you know, the land, all the information in there, all the photos and the family connections, that's really important to us. We also have a therapeutic care practice framework that we're currently in the process of implementing, and essentially what that is it aims to build capacity and skills of foster carers, acknowledging that the carer is the expert in their own lives, and we're using a coaching approach in how we work with foster carers. So we also offer individual coaching support to carers. This is voluntary. What that looks like is that you will have 6 sessions with a practitioner spanning over a number of weeks, again, it's voluntary, but it's something we can offer when things get really stressful and you need a bit of support, additional support. We also have a really collaborative approach with our foster carers. We acknowledge that carers are a valued member of the care team. We're very experienced in both advocating for carers and children, given our, you know, long-standing history of providing foster care services in WA. We also work really closely with Foster Care Association. We welcome them to come along to meetings to support our foster carers, and we also consult with them on complex and challenging issues for foster carers to seek their advice. All of our foster carers have access to EAP. All of our staff have access to EAP, but we've acknowledged over the last few years that the EAP support is not always best tailored to support and understand the challenges foster carers go through. So we have been able to support foster carers to access our space, which is specific therapeutic support delivered through Australian Childhood Foundation psychologists. So some of our foster carers have provided good feedback about that additional support there. Just have my little notes so I don't forget anything important. We also offer training for foster carers and social peer support options throughout the year. So we have our annual events like Christmas party. We do the foster carers, foster mothers appreciation day, foster fathers appreciation day. And we generally take feedback from carers around what events they value and appreciate. And sometimes the most appreciated events are those smaller events where carers can connect and come over for a coffee morning, collect some donations, and just connect with each other on a more informal level. Our foster carer community is large, but we have some foster carers who have been with us between 15 and the longest standing 35 years. So our foster carers are generally well connected and provide a lot of support to each other. All right, I think I might hand over to you, Amy, to talk a little bit more about our team.
I will keep it very, very, very brief, not to repeat anything which Christine has already covered. My name's Amy, I'm the coordinator. I sit at the Bin Jarrab office in Mandurah, and supporting carers and children to medical appointments, and anything that the carer needs in terms of the family support worker support. Some carers really prefer just to not have minimal communication with the agency. Every family setup is unique. We understand that carers work full time, have structured routines in place, really do struggle to accommodate when a social worker says, I really need to come out and see that child at this time, how we're going to fit that into our busy week. Examples of how we work that: we've got a carer and a child who attend a play therapy in Perth. Carer lives way down south, doesn't like driving to the city. They work the visit in to accommodate that. So the carer has that support. Social worker gets to see the child on a one-to-one basis as well. Gives the carer a break with the social worker taking the child out of the home as well for the morning. So we really do just adapt around what the carer needs are. Obviously seeing the child and building that relationship with the child as well. So I will complete that, but any questions, would be happy to take those at the end.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm from Lifestyle Solutions. I'm the General Manager for WA and NT. I'm very cold today. I've come down from up north and it's very cold in Perth. I don't know how you all cope. Thank you so much, Shona, for inviting us today, and to the whole Mercy Care team that have been here and really supportive and leading us through the doors and showing us where to go. I've been really privileged getting to sit down the very, very back and listening to all the other incredible providers talk today, all the other organisations, and hearing them talk so much from the heart as well. It warmed my heart to hear you all. So thank you, and it is such a great, I guess, space for us all to work in and work together. And I know that probably there are a lot of fear from some of the foster carers, but we're all here for you and we will work with you all together. There is 4 of us up here. The 4 of us do have a tendency when we're together all talk all at the same time, very loudly, and we understand what each other say. We're probably acknowledging the fact that nobody else understands what we're talking about. So we will pass the microphone around and try and take it a bit slow. Lifestyle Solutions has been operating in the out-of-home care space for about 14 years, and we're right up the very, very top. So we operate out-of-home care services in Kununurra, and then we come all the way down through the West Kimberleys and the Pilbara, down to Perth and the Wheatbelt and the Great Southern. We operate, or currently in the new world, we'll be operating the group foster homes through a lot of those regional areas, and the temporary care houses as well, and also the community foster space too. So we've we feel so privileged to be a part of this new space and move through this together with everyone. What we wanted to do, and really, I guess, in the way that we wanted to operate our community services for foster care, was to have really localised teams. That knowing that every region and every district is different, and that we would have a team based around that local area that knew and could work in with the foster carers at their own time and own space. So I have invited that team to come with me today and talk each individually about their role and what they do and how it works. The only team I couldn't bring out today is our clinical team. They unfortunately are all in clinical supervision and other training and things today and weren't able to make it down. But we do have a specialist clinical role that works with our foster carers that has access to the rest of the clinicians in our therapeutic team, which includes social workers, OTs, education specialists and an Aboriginal health practitioner. But I might start just by introducing the team here today and what their role is, and then what part they play through community foster care. So first up we have Alicia, and we wore our same uniform today. Alicia is our carer support officer. Then we have Maddie that's in the middle. Maddie talks about as much as I do. Madison more so. Madison is our placement support officer, and we have Tracy. Tracy is our Aboriginal cultural advisor. So I might pass the microphone to you first, Alicia. Is that all right? Sure. Talk a little bit about what you do.
So I'm Alicia. I'm a carer support officer, and my only role is to support carers. Whatever support that they feel that they require. If you need intense support, if you need a phone call every 2-3 weeks to check in, that's my role. I will work individually with each carer on their learning and development plans. We have learning available online for our foster carers. It's really easy to get through. We can support with logins, we can support with doing the work online to help you. We've also got access to other support programs that we can do. The department, we can actually help attend the department training with you guys as well. Yeah, my main role is the carers' well-being. I'm very passionate about providing that extra care for carers because the space that you're in is hard. It's, you know, acknowledge how hard it is, how overwhelming it is, and whatever we can do to help, we're going to be there to help you.
Hi, my name's Madison. I'm the placement support officer, which is pretty similar to most of the roles that you would already have at agencies. They look after the placement as a whole, the children, advocate for them, relying mainly on what the foster carers say because they know the children the best. Something that Lifestyle Solutions does that I've always really loved is that we are also a disability provider, and we have amazing background in NDIS planning and have always been able to support our foster carers through that. I've been working in our foster area for about 5 years now, and we've had general carers, specialised carers, disability carers, and have been heavily involved in increasing NDIS plans and supporting everyone to understand the roles, including being able to be a go-to with the department who, at the time when it rolled out, was still learning and understanding NDIS as well. So complex care is something that we're really skilled in. We've got a lot of opportunity to be able to share our experience with that. So complex care, high NAT levels is something that we're really good at. We do support our carers, like Alicia said, in the way that they want to be supported. I do regular visits out to the wheat belt, and we have a really good community of foster carers out in that area. So that has been really good. I'm going to try and keep it short. So, what other supports do we provide? Yeah, we provide a lot of supports, and we try and provide a high level of financial support as well in the areas that it is needed, and we do reimburse above average, which is something that I've advocated strongly for with our foster carers. Being a foster carer myself, I've been doing that for a while and have had really complex needs children. I understand that this time with the handover is really scary. We have shortened our transfer process as well to make it really simple and easy, and like some other providers, it would be a really casual meet and greet, go and have a coffee with you, make sure that everybody's the right fit and that we're who you would want to foster through, and then just look at your couple of past carer reviews, and it would be just paperwork after that. So we're trying to keep that really simple. We have a really amazing cultural team, so Trace is going to speak to you about that.
Thank you, Madison. Hi, my name is Tracy, and I just want to acknowledge our beautiful land that we're all sitting and standing on today, that I'm a proud Dedali Noongar Yorga. I want to pay my respects to the elders past and emerging today. So my position is basically around the cultural advice for staff and keep our young kids in their culture. So I get to travel around this beautiful WA state and hopefully keep our children in culture, and especially with the kids who don't know much about their culture, so I'm hoping to give them that advice about their amazing culture. So I get with they have their own, sorry, a bit nervous, standing in front of a crowd. So they do have their individual cultural support plan, which is based on the CAR from the Department Care Arrangement Referral document on the cultural identity section. And then we have another document called the information gathering, which is what the kids know. And then all come together, trying to arrange cultural activities and programs, and yeah, culture corners and everything. So it's a part of and trips back to country, but we've got to keep it short. So if you need to know more, please come out and ask me outside. Thank you, guys. Oh my God, that was so nervous.
Yes. Thanks, Thank you.
Get up here and tell you how wonderful Kinship Connections is. I would like to say congratulations to all the ACOs and the NGOs that have secured the placements in out-of-home care. And whichever agency you guys go to, you'll be getting a great service. So I won't really repeat what everyone else is saying, because we're all doing the same service and we help each other as we go in this journey. Now, I was like Karen, I wanted to know what it is I'd be saying up here and what would I want to know as a foster carer. And so I thought what I'd want to know about the credibility of the agency. What's the history of the agency? Who are they? Why are they set up? You know, because all the other stuff comes later. So before I make a decision, I want to know what the agency is about. Kinship Connections actually started out of my story because I was a kid in care, so I grew up in the foster care system for 18 years, and I was in a lot of non-Aboriginal placements. Yeah, they were good placements. Some weren't, some were, but I survived. And so all throughout my journey, I always thought I wanted to be a foster carer, and I could do it better. And so I've been a foster carer for 20 years as a general carer, and then for the last 16 years as a family carer, so I took on my 5 grandsons. So I've still got 8 boys at home. So in saying that, I want to also thank Faye, because when I started Kinship up 12 years ago, Faye has been on our board for the past 11 years, and she's been awesome supporting us throughout this journey. I did work for the Department of Child Protection. I was a training officer in the beginning, then I went on board and was an assessor. And then also I sat on the centralised foster panels for the last 8 years with Faye assessing carers to see how suitable they were for looking after children. Also, Key Assets I wanted to thank because they've been great as well. So we all work together in this field, and together, you know, we can bring better outcomes for kids in care. And Kinship Connections has been going for nearly 12 years now. We're a small team, but we're an awesome team, just like every other agency here. Justine is our cultural advisor, because even though I'm Aboriginal, I'm not from this country. So Justine is from Whadjuk country, and she overlooks all our governance, our staff and our carers. So we also run Family Carer Support Program, which we've been doing for the last 7 years. So we have up to 40 carers where we work with, and we stabilise their placements if the carers are getting a bit wobbly. So we know the whole journey of the foster care system. We understand the fears of non-Aboriginal people coming to an ACO as well. And, you know, like all the ACOs in this room, we will help you through that. Come on this journey with us. Okay.
I'd just like to say thanks to the lady from Yorganup who gave an acknowledgement to country. My name's Justine Bennell. I have strong bloodlines to this country. In fact, to the nearby Lake Munga here for my family. I'm a bit of an academic sort of person. I've worked with youth at risk. I'm a qualified primary school teacher. I love education. I got told to, go and learn. And I've worked with a lot of kids at risk. And on my journey, I've ended up in primary schools at places like the old Queen's Park, which had Sister Kate's home right across the road, and I actually worked at the school there to transition children over into primary school. I ended up at places for like 8 years at the Juvenile Detention Centre, which we had a lot of young people at risk, and I was lucky enough to end up with Anne. And what I see is a lot of children, especially from our community, not just in Noongar country, but all over the state of Western Australia. There's a lot of trauma that our young children are exposed to, and I think any foster carers are doing a great job in, providing that care and stability to children that have a trauma background or have any other sort of challenging behaviours. Working with places like Telethon Kids as well to provide forums around educating and providing that support to families and others that are working on the front line, just like carers do, to manage challenging behaviours, especially around FASD and different cognitive impairments and other, behaviours that are, evident with a lot of our children and young people. But what I found, which is why I'm glad I ended up over at Kinship, is identity is a really strong, strengthening factor for our children, families and our community, and for all the people that come and help to care for our kids, because at the end of the day we've got the same goal, we want children to be looked after. And I think being new in the space, it's exciting because whatever's going to be created, especially around service delivery, it's definitely going to be including families, foster families, and also biological community. And we just want to, give the best service that we can. And I think it's a great starting point to be able to be part of that journey from the very beginning to create something that's tailored, especially for everybody that's involved in, because it takes a community. So, yeah.
Hi, my name's Helen Nyes and I'm the State Director for Life Without Barriers in Western Australia. Thank you for taking the time to view this video and find out more information about our organisation. Life Without Barriers' purpose is to support children, carers and families to have the best care experience that the child possibly can be, and to support that young person to have the best life outcomes that they can achieve whilst they are in care. We believe that all children should be supported to have a family care experience wherever possible. And whilst children might come into our care from one of our residential models, we would work with the department to support children to move to a family-based care environment or return to their family or kinship connection wherever possible. We are committed to working with Aboriginal children, communities and corporations to ensure that Aboriginal children are appropriately supported and connected to an Aboriginal corporation in order to receive the best cultural support and connection that they can. In WA, we operate in the Perth metropolitan area, Peel and the southwest, Kalgoorlie